Former Miss Hungary, Nancy Reagan, on trial for cop bashing.
Otash claims that he had recordings of JFK having sex with Marilyn Monroe.
Old Hollywood was glam, glittering, and absolutely scandalous. Behind the red lips and camera flashes were actresses who broke the rules, stirred controversy, and lived wild, untamed lives. From forbidden affairs to on-set meltdowns, these women weren't just stars, they were storms. Let's uncover the outrageous truths behind 16 iconic actresses who were anything but well-behaved. Number 16. Zsa Zsa Gabor. Zsa Zsa Gabor was infamous for her chaotic romantic life, having tied the knot 9 times, a detail she skillfully used to craft a scandalous image during Hollywood's golden age. Her spouses included Conrad Hilton, George Sanders, and Frederick Prince von Anhalt, with whom she stayed until her passing. She famously remarked that if she doesn't want to be with a man, she'd divorce him, a statement that succinctly captured her view on marriage. In her 1933 autobiography, Gabor revealed that she lost her virginity at 15 to Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of modern Turkey, a disclosure that sparked considerable gossip regarding her youth. She also confessed to having flings with her stepson, Nicky Hilton, and playful interactions with Greta Garbo, blurring the lines of decorum and igniting tabloid interest. Gabor's marriage to hotel tycoon Conrad Hilton resulted in her only child, Francesca. Yet, that relationship was marred by controversy. Hilton demanded she adopt the name Georgia, a request she viewed as an attack on her Hungarian heritage. Her 4th husband, George Sanders, abandoned her for her sister Magda, an incident that solidified Gabor's image as vindictive and adept at handling the media. In between marriages, she was romantically linked to Porfirio Rubirosa, a Dominican diplomat famed for his own legendary romances, which only added to her reputation as Hollywood's quintessential siren. Beyond her romantic escapades, Gabor's witty remarks became iconic. Remarks like, "Divorce lawyers are a girl's best friend," she declared to the American Bar Association in 1987, proudly revealing how her many divorces benefited her legal representatives. In interviews, she confessed to being discerning, rejecting advances from Elvis Presley, Henry Fonda, and John Huston, showing that despite the rumors of promiscuity, Gabor exercised control over her romantic decisions. While many of her liaisons were cloaked in speculation, her unapologetic acceptance of scandal shaped her legacy. Zsa Zsa Gabor was more than just an actress. She was a self-made symbol of erotic freedom and high society extravagance. Number 15. Barbara Payton. In 1955, Barbara Payton was apprehended for solicitation on Sunset Boulevard, which publicly confirmed her involvement in escort. Scotty Bowers, a bartender in Hollywood, claimed that Payton had transformed into a high-class call girl, sought after by those in the industry. Payton later confessed that her rates plummeted from $300 a night to as low as $5, stating she refused to look at herself as she was, but finally was forced to see herself as a whore. During this stormy time, she was rumored to have had affairs with actors like Dennis Hopper, who asserted he was one of her clients, highlighting her dramatic decline from stardom. Payton's escalating reliance on alcohol and heroin led to extravagant parties on Sunset Boulevard, where she hosted what her friends referred to as bacchanals filled with substance and indiscriminate erotic encounters. Writer John O'Dowd observed that following her divorce in 1958, Payton squandered $1 million and resorted to prostitution and substance to manage her emotional baggage and inherited substance misuse issues. By 1962, witnesses described her as oozing alcohol, with a swollen face, broken nails, and dirty clothes, an image starkly contrasting her previous status as a screen siren. Between 1957 and 1973, she faced multiple arrests for public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and prostitution, often discovered sleeping on a bus bench, clad only in a swimsuit. After violent incidents in rundown motels, Sensual Scandals involves women wrapped up affairs, but What's Next involves more than that. Number 14. Lupe Velez. Lupe Velez, famously dubbed the Mexican Spitfire, was one of the most dynamic and unpredictable figures of old Hollywood. Her stunning beauty, magnetic charisma, and exotic persona enthralled audiences, yet off-screen, she was just as well known for her chaotic love life, scandalous liaisons, and fiery temper. Among her most notorious relationships was her intense and chaotic affair with Olympic swimmer and actor Johnny Weissmuller, who famously portrayed Tarzan in the 30s. Their romance was characterized as passionate, yet perilously unstable. Friends and insiders frequently recounted the couple's heated arguments, physical confrontation, and dramatic reconciliations. It was not unusual for their disputes to escalate into violence, leaving behind bruises and scratches as evidence of their clashes. Velez, in particular, had a reputation for being physically confrontational, throwing objects, slapping, and even biting during their fiery exchanges. Despite the toxicity of their relationship, the couple found it impossible to part ways, caught in a relentless cycle of desire, rage, and dysfunction that the media eagerly exploited. Her relationship with Gary Cooper was equally contentious. Following their split, Velez was reportedly so furious that she chased Cooper through a hotel corridor wielding a knife. To escape her fury, Cooper had to make a hasty exit from the area. These events sparked speculation that Velez's emotional instability rendered her perilous in matters of the heart, contributing to the perception of her as a woman who was out of control. Despite being a pioneer and a gifted actress, Lupe Velez's legacy is frequently eclipsed by the chaos of her private life. Her erratic actions, particularly in her romantic endeavors, turned her into a tabloid icon and one of the most contentious figures in Hollywood lore. Her tragic demise only solidified her reputation as a wild and unforgettable presence on the silver screen. Number 13. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford was not just a dominant force in Hollywood, she was also one of the most scandalous figures of her time. Long before she became a studio icon, rumors circulated that Crawford had appeared in adult films during her early struggles in show business, including whispers about a silent stag film called The Casting Couch. Although these claims were never officially verified, they lingered throughout her career and were frequently wielded by competitors to diminish her achievements. As she climbed the ladder of fame, Crawford developed a reputation for leveraging her eroticity as a means of influence. Gossip columnists and industry insiders suggested that she often seduced studio heads, directors, and leading men to land roles and preserve her position in a ruthless industry. Her romantic entanglements were numerous and often calculated. She was linked to prominent figures like Clark Gable, Spencer Tracy, and even Howard Hughes, with each relationship igniting public intrigue and tabloid speculation. However, it wasn't solely men involved. Crawford was long rumored to have engaged in secret same-gender relationships, particularly with actresses such as Barbara Stanwyck and Greta Garbo. Although these relationships were never publicly acknowledged due to the conservative culture of the era, Hollywood insiders frequently whispered about Crawford's fluid eroticity and her unabashed desire for passion in all its manifestations. Her erotic persona was meticulously crafted, yet not always manageable. On-screen, she radiated raw desire and intensity. Off-screen, she faced accusations of seducing co-stars, manipulating lovers, and even participating in extravagant parties that blurred the lines between glamour and scandal. Joan Crawford was more than just a leading lady. She was a virtuoso in wielding intercourse, allure, and ambition to maintain her position at the pinnacle, regardless of the cost. Number 12. Bette Davis. Bette Davis was a colossal figure in cinema, fierce, authoritative, and completely unfazed by the societal norms that constrained other women. While her extraordinary talent garnered her widespread acclaim, her private life generated just as much buzz. Behind her piercing gaze and incisive delivery lay a woman whose romantic history was as daring as her acting decisions. Renowned for her relentless ambition, Davis was rumored to have had numerous affairs with leading men, studio heads, and powerful individuals who could either advance or obstruct her career. Her name was associated with William Wyler, the director of Jezebel, with whom she allegedly shared a passionate romance on set. She later referred to him as the love of her life, although their unrestrained relationship concluded in heartbreak and resentment. There were also rumors of liaisons with George Brent and other co-stars, many of which occurred during intense filming schedules and clandestine meetings. In contrast to some of her contemporaries, Davis did not attempt to conceal her eroticity behind a facade of modesty or innocence. She was bold, often unrefined, and famously remarked that intercourse is God's joke on human beings. She infused a rawness into her performance and her personal life that made her both revered and feared in the male-dominated realm of Hollywood. Although never officially acknowledged, various biographers have speculated on her intimate friendships with women, hinting at emotional and perhaps romantic connections that challenged the social conventions of her time. Davis never publicly commented on these speculations, but was proud of her ability to live life according to her own rules. During an era when women were often expected to be silent and compliant, Bette Davis stood out as a bold, sensual, and erotically independent figure. Her controversies did not hinder her. Instead, they contributed to her legendary status. She was more than just a star. She was a woman who had the courage to live freely. While some women lived in the freedom of their sensuality, some couldn't. Number 11. Clara Bo. Clara Bo was the typical it girl of Hollywood and a prominent intercourse symbol of the 1920s, capturing the liberated spirit of the flapper era. Her defining performance in It solidified her reputation as a vibrant contemporary woman, with her heart-shaped face, an hourglass figure, and thick auburn hair representing a transformative period in female attractiveness. However, Bo's lively character sparked a flurry of gossip. She was rumored to have multiple romantic interests, managing at least 7 notable men simultaneously, including actors, directors, and affluent businessmen. One of the most infamous stories suggested that Bo organized orgies for the USC football team, allegedly entertaining every player after home games. In reality, between 1926 and 27, she did host team members at social gatherings that included food, dancing, and playful flirtation. But as quarterback Morley Drury later stated, nothing happened beyond lighthearted fun. Snopes has categorically dismissed the orgy rumors as false, highlighting that Bo's father swiftly curtailed these social events to avoid any scandal. Tabloids claimed she engaged in inappropriate relationships with her chauffeur, female staff, and even her cousin, with these allegations stemming from a 1931 exposé by her former secretary, Daisy DeVoe. DeVoe's series in the Coast Reporter accused Bo of exhibitionism, lesbian relationships, substance use, and even bestiality. Such outrageous claims that they resulted in publisher Fred Gurnau being convicted for mailing obscene materials. Bo took legal action against DeVoe for defamation, and while the trial uncovered little credible evidence, the sensationalist headlines severely tarnished her reputation. In 1931, Paramount Studios terminated her contract, citing a decline in box office performance partly due to unrelenting gossip, effectively sidelining a star at just 26 years old. Number 10. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's ascent in Hollywood commenced under difficult conditions, with biographers asserting that she faced coercive casting couch situations from a studio executive referred to as Mr. Z, who is widely thought to be Darryl Zanuck, although concrete evidence is still lacking. Monroe's initial significant relationship was with Johnny Hyde, the vice president of the William Morris Agency, who was still married when he pursued her. He reportedly leveraged his power over her career to sustain a private erotic affair, until his passing in the 1950s. In 1954, Monroe tied the knot with baseball legend Joe DiMaggio, but their union deteriorated due to his disapproval of her provocative film image, especially the iconic skirt-blowing moment in The 7-Year Itch, which sparked rumors that his jealousy led to on-set altercations. Following their divorce, Monroe married playwright Arthur Miller. Tabloid rumors hinted at her rekindling relationships with both DiMaggio and Hyde, although most historians approach these assertions with skepticism. Her short-lived romance with Frank Sinatra in the late 50s garnered considerable media attention, as Sinatra's burgeoning fame and his purported jealousy regarding Monroe's ties to other men turned their affair into a hot topic for gossip columnists. Monroe's most notorious scandal revolved around her alleged affair with President John F. Kennedy, famously highlighted by her sultry rendition of Happy Birthday, Mr. President in 1962. While photographers documented her performance for JFK, there is no definitive proof of a physical relationship. Shirley MacLaine later asserted that Monroe had intimate relations with both JFK and his brother Robert on the same evening. This claim has sparked considerable debate and lacks primary evidence. Additionally, speculation has connected Monroe to mob leader Sam Giancana, yet researchers typically dismiss these headlines as unfounded. In 1947, rumors emerged about an affair with Charlie Chaplin Jr., with his memoir and biographer Anthony Summers detailing a fleeting connection, although specifics remain unclear. Director Elia Kazan confessed in private correspondence to a short affair with Monroe despite his marriage, which further fueled sensational rumors. There were also whispers of her bieroticity, including alleged involvement with her drama coach Natasha Lytess, but Monroe refuted these allegations in her 1974 autobiography. Tony Curtis's later claim that he had fathered Monroe's aborted child was categorically denied by Monroe in a handwritten note. Some scandals involved multiple lovers and affairs with fewer men. Others involved men from every street. Number 9. Vivian Lee. Vivian Lee was known for her secretive romantic affairs, managing relationships with both men and women while maintaining a composed exterior. Early in her career, she had several lesbian relationships, including a brief romance with actress Isabel Jeans in 1938. In the 40s, Lee and director George Cukor reportedly visited a Los Angeles brothel, seeking male escorts and paying with jewelry or stocks. Rumors suggest she preferred rough trade, with hotel staff recalling an incident where she was expelled from an Italian hotel for bringing back street boys. Her marriage to Laurence Olivier, which began in 1940, was marked by mutual infidelity. Unpublished memoirs hint at affairs with co-stars Marlon Brando and Rex Harrison, as well as Australian actor Peter Finch during a 1948 tour. Finn and Lee rekindled their affair on the set of Elephant Walk, leading to Lee's nervous breakdown and a brief, intense relationship. Her bieroticity extended beyond Hollywood. She was rumored to proposition taxi drivers and delivery men in London, once returning home soaked and muddy after a street encounter. The New York Post labeled her a serial bierotic adulterer, a title reinforced by Darwin Porter's biography, Damn You, Scarlett O'Hara. Despite her declining mental health, marked by manic episodes and electroconvulsive therapy, Lee's reputation for erotic boldness overshadowed her Oscar-winning achievements. While some women were known for sensual scandals, some were known for mental illness. Number 8. Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood's career took a significant turn in 1966 when she paid Warner Brothers $175,000 to terminate her contract, overwhelmed by stress. During the troubled production of Penelope, Wood developed hives and suffered severe emotional distress that left her writhing on studio floors in agony. She later confessed that the role intensified her anxiety, leading to panic attacks and physical symptoms that rendered filming intolerable. Confronted with increasing pressure, she dismissed her entire support team, including agents, lawyers, and publicists, to concentrate solely on her mental health. Consequently, Wood embarked on a 3-year break, prioritizing therapy and self-care over new projects. During this time, she steered clear of major film roles and focused on recuperating from the physical and psychological strain imposed by Hollywood's demands. While Wood's off-screen life attracted gossip, there is little evidence to suggest she engaged in multiple erotic relationships that would constitute a public scandal. Her first marriage to Robert Wagner was in 1957. In 1961, amid rumors of Wagner's extramarital affair with another man, they were estranged, a revelation that profoundly impacted Wood's emotional state and ended in 1962. In 1961, Wood briefly rekindled a relationship with Warren Beatty, characterized as intense and chaotic, but it did not develop into a long-term, widely publicized affair. In 1965, she was briefly engaged to Venezuelan businessman Ladislav Blatnik, but the engagement was called off, reflecting her ongoing emotional struggles rather than promiscuity. In 1969, she married British producer Richard Gregson. Although this marriage offered temporary stability, it ended in divorce in 1972, after which she remarried Wagner. Despite these chaotic relationships, Wood's reputation for being out of control stemmed more from her mental health crises and legal disputes with Warner Brothers than from any pattern of erotic excess. Number 7. Frances Farmer. Frances Farmer started her acting career in local theater before gaining recognition on Broadway in 1939 with Clifford Odets's Golden Boy, showcasing a naturalistic style that attracted Hollywood's interest. Paramount signed her in 1941, and she starred in films like Meet John Doe and The Duchess and The Dirtwater Fox, marking her as a rising young star. However, behind her professional success, Farmer faced personal challenges with a poor self-image and a growing reliance on amphetamines, often prescribed as diet pills, which led to unpredictable behavior and mood fluctuations. On October 19, 1942, Farmer was arrested in Santa Monica for DUI during a wartime blackout and was fined $500 with a 180-day suspended sentence. When she failed to pay her fine and resisted arrest at the Knickerbocker Hotel, reportedly fighting with officers and a matron, she assaulted a studio hairdresser and exhibited violent behavior, resulting in a court hearing in January 1943. At her hearing, Farmer threw an inkwell at the judge, injured officers, and cried out about her broken heart, which led the judge to commit her to Western State Hospital instead of sending her to jail. Initially transferred to Kimball Sanitarium and later to Western State Hospital, Farmer was diagnosed with manic depressive psychosis and paranoid schizophrenia, terms often misused for women who displayed independence or nonconformity. At Western State, she received electroconvulsive therapy 2 to 3 times a week for 3 months, a treatment thought at the time to cure mental illness, but known to cause significant disorientation and memory loss. In her posthumous autobiography and Kenneth Anger's Hollywood Babylon, Farmer claimed she was molested by orderlies, forced to ingest her own feces, restrained in straitjackets, and subjected to various mistreatments. Despite being declared completely cured by hospital staff in July 1944, she was rearrested for vagrancy less than a month later, indicating that her mental health struggles and public persona were still mired in controversy. After her release in 1950, Farmer slipped into obscurity, hosting a short-lived television show in Indianapolis, but never managing to reclaim her former fame. Her story remains a cautionary tale about Hollywood's harsh treatment of women who do not conform. Number 6. Jane Mansfield. In January 1955, Mansfield participated in a press event in Silver Springs, Florida, to promote underwater, donning a purposely small red bikini. As she leaped into the pool for the photographers, her top unexpectedly came off, igniting a global media frenzy and prompting Warner Brothers and Playboy to extend contract offers. This incident illustrated her mantra of stay in the headlines at all costs. On June 8, 1955, At a movie party and nightclub, Mansfield's dress slipped down to her waist twice, leading to extensive tabloid coverage and solidifying her reputation for sensational mishaps. In February 1958, she made headlines by appearing topless at a carnival party in Rio de Janeiro, enhancing her scandalous image. A similar incident occurred in June 1962, when she escaped from a polka dot dress at a Rome nightclub, attracting international media attention and earning her the title of Hollywood's most controversial star. Despite the fact that numerous romantic relationships attributed to her are unconfirmed, Mansfield has been the subject of long-standing rumors regarding an affair with President John F. Kennedy, rumors that were amplified by her captivating public image and her connections to high society. In interviews, she also asserted that she had rejected the advances of Elvis Presley and Henry Fonda, indicating that she exercised authority over her own eroticity in the face of tabloid scrutiny. Although concrete proof is absent, these speculations have played a significant role in shaping her image as a woman who wielded her eroticity as both a form of currency and a powerful statement. Number 5. Talula Bankhead. Talula Bankhead was infamous for her bold eroticity, engaging in numerous affairs with both men and women throughout her lifetime. In the 20s, British authorities investigated claims that she had seduced schoolboys at Eton College, but the headmaster declined to assist, resulting in no charges being filed. She famously referred to herself as skillful, openly admitting to relationships with both genders while dismissing the term bioerotic. Bankhead's romantic entanglements with women included notable Hollywood figures such as Greta Garbo, Marlene Dietrich, Hattie McDaniel, Beatrice Lilly, Alla Nazimova, Blythe Daly, Mercedes de Acosta, Ava Le Gallienne, and Billie Holiday. Actress Patsy Kelly confirmed an erotic relationship while serving as Bankhead's assistant, highlighting the fervor of Bankhead's affairs behind the scenes. Her male conquests were nothing short of legendary. In a candid interview with Motion Picture magazine, she confessed to having gone too long without an affair and openly expressed. Bankhead's shocking behavior included nudity at parties and greeting guests completely naked, using her body to provoke. Vanity Fair noted her wild antics and countless seductions in New York and London, cementing her status as a queer icon, with rumors of her conquests reaching into the hundreds or thousands. Rumors of a romance with Hattie McDaniel persisted for decades. Though unverified, Kenneth Anger included them in Hollywood Babylon, fueling gossip about their alleged affair. Despite her father's position as Speaker of the U.S. House, Bankhead openly embraced her vices, humorously noting he never mentioned women and substance. By the end of her life, her legacy as a scandalous seductress was firmly established, making Talula Bankhead one of old Hollywood's most outrageous figures. Number 4. Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner was famous for her beauty and chaotic love life, marked by affairs and scandals. At 18, she married Mickey Rooney, but they divorced in 1943 due to his gambling and infidelity. Rumors of her liaisons with studio figures like Howard Hughes circulated during this time. Her second marriage to band leader Artie Shaw in 1945 lasted less than a year, during which whispers of her affair with director John Huston emerged, helping her land roles in The Night of the Iguana and The Bible. Gardner's most notorious romance was with Frank Sinatra, whom she married in 1951. Their relationship was marred by jealousy, violence, and 2 secret abortions arranged by MGM to protect their images. While filming Mogambo, Gardner ended her first pregnancy without Sinatra's knowledge and later had a second abortion in London. Their relationship was wild, featuring joyrides and a gun incident, earning them a reputation as Hollywood's most explosive couple. Gardner also had affairs with Ernest Hemingway, Steve McQueen, and matador Luis Miguel Dominguín. A liaison with Robert Walker nearly turned deadly when he found her with actor Howard Duff. She was linked to Claude Tourelle, a Parisian restaurateur, and rumored to have connections with mob associate Johnny Stompanato. Despite personal tragedies, including her brother's self-destruction and struggles with alcoholism, Gardner embraced her scandals as part of her legacy. When questioned regarding her abortions, she expressed regret that the penalty clauses imposed by MGM left her with no options if she wanted to pursue her career. By the time she relocated to Spain and subsequently to London, her reputation was firmly established. Ava Gardner had become Hollywood's typical siren, wild, unrepentant, and eternally controversial. Number 3. Esther Williams. Esther Williams, dubbed Hollywood's million-dollar mermaid, led a scandalous personal life. Her romantic entanglements began with Olympic swimmer Johnny Weissmuller during her time at Billy Rose's Aquacade, where he allegedly attempted to seduce her. While filming Million Dollar Mermaid in 1952, her marriage to Ben Gage deteriorated, prompting an affair with co-star Victor Mature that ended after a serious diving accident. In 1956, while working on Raw Wind in Eden, she had a brief romance with Jeff Chandler, which fizzled out after he expressed interest in cross-dressing. Despite advances from notable figures like Howard Hughes and Desi Arnaz, Williams minimized her suitors, attributing their interest to fame. Her first marriage to Gage, which began in 1945, ended in 1959 due to his alcoholism and financial troubles. On December 31, 1969, she married Argentine actor Fernando Lamas, living in total submission until his death in 1982. In her 1999 autobiography, she candidly addressed these scandals and her life's complexities. Number 2. Jean Harlo. Jean Harlo embodied Hollywood's blonde bombshell, but was plagued by scandals that intrigued tabloids and upset studio executives. In July 1932, she married MGM executive Paul Byrne, who recognized her talent, but his mysterious gunshot death 2 months later fueled rumors of a love triangle or self-destruction. Although ruled self-inflicted, speculation lingered about a jealous lover's involvement. Amid the scandal, MGM pressured Harlo to remain silent, while gossip columnists linked her to gangster Abner Longy Zwillman, who allegedly gifted her and aided her film career. Her 6-year affair with boxer Max Baer also attracted attention, especially with divorce threats looming. To mitigate the controversy, MGM hastily arranged her marriage to cinematographer Harold Rawson in September 1933. But it ended after just 8 months. Harlo's reputation was further solidified by her visits to the Hacienda Arms brothel, where she mingled with celebrities and politicians, enhancing her image as a woman leveraging her eroticity for influence. By her untimely death at 26, Harlo had evolved from a naive starlet to a scandalous icon, her personal life as legendary as her film roles. Number 1. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor's romantic life was filled with scandal, beginning with her first marriage at 18 to hotel heir Conrad Hilton Jr., which led to speculation that she married for status rather than love. In 1947, rumors of an affair with future President Ronald Reagan emerged, though Taylor neither confirmed nor denied it. After Hilton, she wed British actor Michael Wilding and had 2 sons, but her heart was said to remain with Mike Todd, whom she married in 1957 while pregnant, only for him to die in a plane crash shortly after. Taylor then sought comfort with Eddie Fisher, Todd's best friend, causing a national scandal when their affair began while he was still married to Debbie Reynolds. Fisher reportedly threatened her with a gun during their chaotic marriage, which began in 1959 and was labeled a homewrecker scandal. Taylor allegedly attempted self-destruction when their affair was exposed. In 1962, her relationship with Richard Burton, her co-star in Cleopatra, drew Vatican condemnation and halted film production due to paparazzi coverage. During this time, she was also rumored to have been involved with Frank Sinatra and to have had a 3-way with JFK and Robert Stack. Despite marrying Burton twice and later producer John Warner, rumors of affairs with Errol Flynn, Orson Welles, and mobsters persisted. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, click on the notification button to get updates on your screen.